tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens.
Welcome back, guys. Another EBN cast here on a Friday afternoon, right before New Year's. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. Hope everybody even has a better Happy New Year this weekend. Let me go ahead and start off with our special guest of the week, Culture Casino himself. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. I'm hanging out with some of my pals, my buddies, my friends.
Hell yeah, glad you could make it. Yeah. Then we got Mr. Producer Man of the EBN cast himself, the non-YouTuber, Mexican Iron Man. What's going on, brother?
Nick, I want to congratulate you on your leadership, your intelligence. You clearly are one of the smartest guys on YouTube because you have correctly identified me as not being a YouTuber. Good job.
Then we got Mr. Jonas J. Campbell himself from the WDW Pro Show in that Park Place. What's going on, Jonas?
Hey, just here for the chillest, coolest, most awesome live stream on the planet. The Culture Cast, late night culture. That's what this is called, right?
Yeah, yes. Yep. Like mid-afternoon culture. Then we got our brother Stone Loki from Loki's Mornings of Mischief. What's going on, Loki? How you doing, brother?
I have received a cease and desist order from Mr. Iron Man's attorneys stating I cannot call him a YouTuber any longer, and I cannot accuse him of sleeping with married older women
anymore.
So I cannot comment on any of that. Thank you.
Sweet. And then we got a special guest that is making a rare appearance. Let's go ahead and introduce him now, guys. look, it's Coach.
I don't know why I'm so excited to be here, but I am.
Coach
Hello, everybody.
making an appearance on the Friday afternoon EBN cast when he's
Yeah.
normally at work. But of
Wow.
course, it's the holiday, so he's not working. So
Here I be.
here he is, and he's got his own topic he's bringing. So real quick, just to give you guys a quick rundown of the show. There's 4 different ways you guys can support the EBN cast here. Channel memberships, Jedi Masters get Echo Base Network collector's coin. Jedi Grandmasters get a free t-shirt and a coin. You get a free super chat every single month. Then, of course, we got Patreon, which we just uploaded Rebel Moon, which we'll be talking about later. And the first 4 episodes of Reacher. Episode 5 just dropped, so that'll be coming soon as well. And then Coach designed us a brand new merch store. We got away from crappy Teesprings. Yeah. So go check out the merch store, and then of course super chats. That's a good way for you guys to get involved in the conversation or have us hit on a topic that we might not be discussing that you want to hear our take on. It's just a way for you guys to kind of be a part of the show here and support us here at Echo Base Network. Each of the panelists here every week, we each bring a topic that we're interested in discussing, and our special guest is just here to enjoy the ride and give their take and commentary on it. So, Culture, just sit back and relax and give your thoughts and comments on these different topics we hit.
All right, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to start us off here. So, I came across this article from Entertainment Weekly. W is for WTF. Alien is getting the children's book treatment. Yes, guys, Alien. So apparently it looks like Little Golden Book is doing an Alien ABC book for children. This is a children's book here. Now, Aliens, it's one of my, I'm not going to read through the whole entire article because the actual thing I wanted to discuss is, when is it too young for children to see some of these classics that we all love, such as Alien, Predator, all that sort of stuff. This is literally for kindergartners and pre-K children.
Oh, no.
There's no way my parents would have ever let me watch Alien. And of course, they're doing a book on it. So these kids are going to probably have no clue what this is or what it's about at all. Now, when I was growing up, and me and Coach have had this conversation before, when we were growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch these kind of movies. It wasn't until I was probably 12 or 13. We were 7th grade, Coach, when we saw Aliens, the director's cut. We
We were 13.
Yeah.
We ordered it off of pay-per-view.
Yep. We ordered the director's cut off of pay-per-view, watched it, and even at 13, I'm going to tell you guys just a quick little story. So that year, I went and spent the summer with my grandparents in Nebraska. And the night before I left, I had one of the worst nightmares I'd ever had in my life, and it was about aliens. And there was these all these houses and stuff were connected by these tunnels with these like metal grates, sort of like you see in Aliens, that they're like walking on and stuff. And like my sister was like running from one. I was like standing by the door. She crossed the door line. It got her. Blood splattered everywhere. Like I was in a room full of them trying to get away. Like I woke up in my bed was soaking wet because not only, sometimes when you have a dream,
From what?
Oh, from the nightmare
Sweat.
I was having on Aliens.
Oh, okay, from sweat.
Because I was sweating so
Oh.
bad, having this dream in my sleep. And sometimes you have a dream, you know that it's a dream, and other times you have a dream and it feels real, that when you wake up you have to take like a double take. Well, that it was that kind of dream. It felt very real, like it was actually happening. And so I woke up and I couldn't freaking go back to sleep. And that was at age like 13, so I don't know why they're doing a for Alien ABC book for children, but we're getting one. Culture, thoughts on this?
Well, when I was 13, I think I'd already seen Faces of Death and a whole lot of other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was
Remember those.
introduced to a lot of horror and things like that at a very young age. It was a great appreciation for things that scare people. It's why I probably got into doing haunts and things like that at a very young age as well. But when is it too young? I don't know. I think Little Golden Book has a pretty good handle on how to go about introducing, this to a younger audience. So I don't know. I would say that if a parent picks that book up, they know what they're getting into, and if a friend happens to give that to your kid, maybe you want to read through it before they see it. But I think, as Soul Assassin said in the chat, C is for chest burster is maybe the coolest thing ever.
Yes, and they actually say that in the article, and it's on pre-order right now. It actually releases July 9th of this next year of 2024. So, all right, Coach, thoughts on this?
If it is a novelty item, it's okay. But if this is something that they're taking seriously, this is how you water down a franchise. You have to stay with what got you there, and Alien didn't get there with milk and cookies. You got
Definitely not.
formula. So this to me is kind of silly. What's next? Freddy Krueger bedtime stories for children?
But funny you mentioned that, because I actually did watch Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like in the 3rd grade, and it did not scare me. I was not scared of like Freddy or Jason or those kind of things that scare me. It was like the for real stuff, like The Exorcist.
So your story reminded me of this. The first time I saw Aliens, the movie had just ended. It's 1984. I'm 5 years old. We had really bad weather here in the South, and if you know the South, if you've been here or whatever, we have tornadoes. It's legit, and whole cities will go down in power. We lost the power to our home. The movie just ended, and I was scared to death, sitting in the living room with my mother, just the two of us. My dad, the police officer, military guy, was at work. I was terrified. Bad timing on the power going out.
Jonas, Jake, huh?
This reminds me. I found a VHS copy of Halloween. I had never heard of it when I was probably about 12 years old. And I got to say, that was the most terrifying thing that I had ever seen in my entire life. The idea of a serial killer standing in the room quietly, just watching you, maybe a little head tilt. He's just there. He's not going to bother you. Maybe he'll kill you later, but he's there. That thing terrified me for, I want to say, a good 2 years. I would wake up thinking, is Michael Myers in my room? So I'd say the exposure at a young age thing, I absolutely identify with that. But what really terrified me more than anything else was First Contact. But that's a story for another day. This is one of those things that, like Coach said, if it's a novelty item for grown-ups, then yeah, that's fine. But you also know there's going to be some stupid adult that's like, oh, this is going to be hilarious, we're going to give this to a kid. I think that the cartoon version of Aliens is probably not enough that it's going to be associated in a child's mind. I don't think it's going to be associated with a big drooling monster on a movie poster or anything like that. But I think about Little People right now has a RuPaul's Drag Race Little People figurine that they sell right now. There's a whole edition of Little People that are actually for adults. But yeah, this is that stuff that kind of skirts the line a little bit, and it's more controversial. I guess Little Golden Books got to stay relevant somehow. But Fox and Disney, they're always trying to do something that's a little bit edgy around kids. And I don't know how deep you want to go on this on your stream, but I feel like the Broomers over there at Disney know what they're doing, and they don't care how it would affect a child.
Well, we've got to make sure that we get the young ones used to looking at demons early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make the not normal,
That's
desensitizing you.
That's right. Let's get them young with the demon images. Woohoo!
Culture, were you wanting to say something?
No. I mean, certainly, I mean, parents understand their kids more than anything. I mean, I would not introduce a very young child to horror or anything like it. But again, I think it just depends on the age, and it just honestly doesn't surprise me. And Disney's got to get as much traction as they can out of IPs because, well, they're losing them.
Mm.
Yeah, very, very true. Darth Maul's lower half makes a good point. Demons like Bob Iger. Yeah, they should have Bob Iger in this book.
I think is he in there?
Is
Isn't he
the
one with the
alien.
chest burst?
K is for Kathleen.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a true horror story right there.
Loki, thoughts?
It's funny hearing you and Coach talk about the seeing this when you were a kid. I saw it when I was a kid. My dad took me to the theater to see this. I got to see all kinds of cool movies when I was a little kid. RoboCop, Aliens.
Yeah.
None of this stuff ever bothered me. But like y'all, we were on a trip to see my grandparents, and they were in Boise, Idaho, and I got to sleep in the basement when it was snowing. There's no heater down there, so they bring down this heat lamp thing, and when they turned that thing on, it gave off that red light.
Oh,
like
when the power goes out in Aliens.
Like when the power goes out, and when they're in the med bay, when Ripley and Newt are in the med bay, and the face huggers are crawling around, that made my imagination go into overdrive. And you're seeing things in the shadow. But the horror movies never bothered me when I was a kid. Now that doesn't mean that I think they should have an alien book. What are they going to do? Oh, whoa, we're going to teach you about alien reproduction today. We're going to talk about are we going to have Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park? Hey, everybody, today we're going to talk about implantation of an embryo by a face hugger. I mean, that's just, it's a little too far. This goes a little too far.
Yeah, they don't show any images from inside the book. They just show the cover. So I would be curious to see what is inside this thing. I'm guessing it's very kiddie-like, judging from the cover. I'm guessing it's not going to be anything gruesome like blood and any of that sort of stuff. But, I mean, my whole point is most kindergartners or pre-K kids are going to have no clue what Alien is. Mike, thoughts before we move on?
He had to run out.
Oh, he had to run out. Oh, okay. All right. Well, with that said, we're going to hit the super chats again. Thank you to everybody that supports this channel by super chats. We really appreciate it. Matt Tween sends in $2 super chat. I have to go. I don't watch professional YouTubers. Well, we appreciate that, Matt Tween. Hail to you, sir. Debbie Young, Mama Bear herself, $4.99. Love you, Mike. So 2 super chats directed towards Mike himself, and he's not even here.
That's what happens.
There he is.
Oh my. Oh,
Mike is gonna do the rest of the show just like that. Debbie also sends in $1.99. KK is the mistress of all demons. I 100% agree.
Okay, I can see now.
are those eye holes or buttholes?
They're eye holes. Well,
okay.
Yes, they could be both.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. All right, Debbie, Matt.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. This super chat video is for you guys. All right, we are going to move over to Jonas J. Campbell. And Jonas, what do you got for us? Jonas, you there? Oh, he might be trying to fix his internet.
Yeah.
We'll wait on Jonas. Coach, you got yours
I'm ready.
ready? All right.
Yeah, I'm ready. So let me well, before I share the screen. So do you remember Carr in Knight Riders? Or Knight Rider, sorry. Venger in Dungeons and Dragons. The Gremlins, Corin, sorry, and King Alfor in Voltron Defender of the Universe. The Predator, Nemesis Enforcer in G.I. Joe the movie, Cinder from Visionaries, Antor from Dino Riders, and even Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh. What do they all have in common? One man named Peter Cullen, largely considered the voice of the 1980s. Mostly known for his voice as Optimus Prime in Transformers.
Great voice actor.
What does the Transformers cartoon mean to me? And when I'm talking about the Transformers cartoon, I'm specifically meaning Generation 1, 1984, all the way through Season 3, 1987, when people didn't even like Transformers anymore because of what happened after Transformers, the movie. That's another topic for another show. But my love for Transformers is the only thing in entertainment that rivals Star Wars. In the animated space, Transformers is my Star Wars. I love the franchise more than anything else. When I was, I think, 6 years old, my dad had a friend that lived in that owned a gas station, and we went out there to go visit him. And so we're there. My dad's hanging out with his buddy, and I'm walking around, and I'm like in the employee only kind of area. Well, I see this little room, and I walk in, and there was an Optimus Prime toy, the 1984 Hasbro Optimus Prime toy, and I wanted it. And I asked my dad. I said, "Dad, can I take that toy?" And Dad said, "No, son." He said, "That's stealing. That's not yours." So indirectly, Optimus Prime taught me about right and wrong. Okay. When I was 8 years old on Mother's Day, long story, but I'll shorten it. I fell 15 feet off a roof and landed headfirst on concrete.
Whoa.
They med flighted me to Children's Hospital in Birmingham. I was unconscious for days. They had to put my head back together.
So that's what's wrong with you.
Explains a lot.
major concussion, messed my back up. I had to relearn how to walk at 8 years old. And as I was recovering in the hospital, I was there for like 6 weeks. As I was laying in the hospital, my mother just asked me one day out of the blue, "Son, what toy do you want? We want to get you a toy." It just came out of the blue. I think she just wanted something to give me a little happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was only one toy that I wanted. It was the 1987, brand new on the shelves, Power Master Optimus Prime. So that's what I asked for. And the very next day, my uncle brought it to me. And I got to open it up and have Optimus Prime there. So Transformers has been with me for a very long time. Now, the news, why am I saying all that? Because, and this is bittersweet for me. Peter Cullen, that you see here, is now 82 years old, the voice of Optimus Prime. And I knew picking this topic, all of you probably appreciate it, but none of you probably appreciate it more than Loki. I know Loki's right with me on all of this. Peter Cullen recently received the Lifetime Achievement Award presented by the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. And in this moving tribute, he was actually introduced at the ceremony by Frank Welker, his Megatron. Megatron
That's
to his
awesome.
Optimus. So I thought that was awesome. Here in the speech, Cullen talks about how he got inspiration for the voice of Optimus, which he actually got from his older brother, Larry, who was a Marine. And Larry talked to him about, this is what a true leader sounds like. Be strong enough to be gentle. And that's Optimus Prime in a nutshell. One of my favorite characters of all time. Cullen, now 82, still does a fantastic Prime. He has voiced Prime and has been the only voice of Optimus Prime since 1984, the inception of Transformers, including 5 Transformers animated series, 13 video games, the theme park ride at Universal Studios, and in all of the Transformers movies. But September 13th, 2024, the streak comes to an end. The new animated feature, Transformers 1, will be coming out. and it will feature Chris Hemsworth, who is not a professionally trained voice actor, as the voice of Optimus Prime and not the iconic Peter Cullen.
Oh, that's gonna
Many
sound
people
so weird.
Many people think this is because Hemsworth will bring some type of star power to the role and garner attention for the Transformers franchise. But for Transformers fans like me and Loki, this literally hurts our heart because the torch is passing right here in front of us. Time stops for nobody. I'm very thankful as a fan that Mr. Cullen was honored for the work that he's done and he's been recognized. But it hurts my heart as a fan to see it go to someone else and not Peter Cullen. But I am grateful that he's been recognized the way that he has.
Wow. So I'll just start off by saying I'm in 100% agreement. He is a fantastic voice actor. I can't imagine anybody else voicing Optimus other than Peter Cullen. You know, I don't know. So is he done doing Optimus or any voice acting period as of right now?
No. Peter Cullen wasn't asked to do Optimus in Transformers 1. He would have done it. And he has publicly said he will be Optimus Prime's voice until the day he's dead or they stop asking him to do it.
You know, as far as it's not Optimus Prime if it's not Peter Cullen. Oh man, that voice is just so cool. And anybody that's a low voice actor in any space has an Optimus Prime impression, whether or not they want to throw something, whether or not they want to throw some little like audio effect on it to try to make it more robotic or whatever. But man, Optimus Prime is like where it's at. There's a story about them casting the Transformers movies with Michael Bay, which Optimus is like looking at what they do now. I would say they got Optimus Prime right. Little did we know at the time, my little piddly complaints about, you should have had the mask on instead of the weird ape face, you know. That we were so spoiled that was my only that could be my only complaint. But they said they brought him in to read, and they gave him some secondary character. I don't want to say sideswipe, but and they had and he was sitting there, and somebody else was reading the Optimus lines. He's like, "Can I just read both?" And he said he figured out partway through that they were just trying to figure out if he could actually act if it wasn't a kid's cartoon. And I don't think that series would have worked. The movies, I don't think they would have worked with anyone other than Peter Cullen.
No,
definitely
I agree.
not. Yeah. And the thing is, I wish that they would ask him just to sign his likeness or his voice away so that they could use AI to generate lines, you know. But, you know, AI is still kind of quirky a little bit. But, yeah, he's an absolute icon. Hate to see him go as far as voicing anything or if anyone's even going to ask him. But, yeah, he's absolutely iconic in the voice acting industry. Culture, thoughts?
I can't imagine another voice.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I mean, it's like I think about that. I'm like, Coach hit it on the nail on the head, and I can't think of another. I don't know. I mean, I know I have friends who do great impressions, but it's not going to be the same, you know. And AI, Nick, I don't know, man. I think that's a step in the wrong direction. I think everything should be of its time, and I think we should be able to let things have their time. And unfortunately, his time, you know, as far as voice acting, maybe for this character in particular, is maybe over. You know, and I mean, you know, we just have to honor the works that were done ahead, you know, before everything that came before. But I think we can't cling too tightly to the past. We have to remember the history, but we can't cling too tightly to the things that just have a natural rhythm to them. So it's I can't imagine another voice, but we're gonna hear one.
Yeah, absolutely. Loki, thoughts, comments?
I'll couple of things real quick, and I will pass it on. Number one, I bugged my dad for months to go see Transformers in the theater. I was very lucky. I convinced him to do it. He didn't want to go see no cartoon in a movie. But when you've got the touch hit and Prime transforms into truck form and starts just running over Decepticons, he elbowed me and had that stern look on his face that my dad had and just shook his head like up and down. Yeah. And then Prime gets killed in that movie.
I was
and
so
all
mad.
these kids are crying. They're being led out of the theater by their parents. And my dad's like, do you want to go? And I'm like, no, I want to see what happens. I'm thinking they're going to bring him back. They've got to bring him back. He can't be dead. He can't be dead. So, fast forward 30 years, one of the greatest things as a parent that I've experienced is every once in a while, my daughter will text me and she'll be like, who disrupts my coronation? and I'll text her back and be, coronation Starscream, this is bad comedy. Or she'll be like, one must stand, one must fall, and it's over prime, and we'll text back and forth because we have spent years watching the show together, watching that movie together, experiencing that. So for 3 generations now, we have experienced Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. And the only thing that I can kind of equate to this is if anybody is a fan of Metal Gear games, they did the same thing to David Hayter. David Hayter was the voice of Solid Snake. He was the voice, and they replaced him in the last game. That was Hideo Kojima. Like him, hate him, he is the creator. He decided, I do not want this B voice actor playing this role. I want and they got Kiefer Sutherland to voice Snake. And it was a mistake. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people spoke up about it.
Yeah, same here.
That's the only thing I can equate to it. But I think this is a mistake. I think they're going to realize it's a mistake, and hopefully they'll get Peter back to do the voice for Optimus Prime again, because if anybody deserves it, he does.
Can I just add one thing? I'm not trying to take too much time. The Muppets did this right. When Jim Henson died in 91, they got Steve Whitmire. Y'all probably forgot his name. They got Steve Whitmire for one reason. He sounded like Jim Henson to do Kermit. They didn't go get Tom Hanks. So the Muppets continued on. That's how you handle a beloved franchise. That's all.
Now, I debated a little bit about whether or not I want to mention this, but that they have replaced Optimus in the Transformers Earthspark series with Alan Tudyk, and he's a freaking goofball, and they have him using preferred pronouns when he's referring. He's asking people.
That is not Transformers.
It's not. It's not.
Is that on the Netflix? Is that the Netflix show?
No, that's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never. Yeah,
and
no clue.
If you want to be infuriated at a desecration of a character, they make Megatron into a misunderstood bad guy, and they make Optimus Prime into a goofball fascist.
Autobots, report your pronouns.
Yeah,
exactly. He's just, this one right here. For some reason, I feel the urge to ask you, what? And then some little girl is like, oh, Nightshade prefers to be, does not identify as either gender. And then Optimus proudly refers to them.
Mexican Autobot transforming into Rainbow Pinata.
And this is the only reason I would oppose them getting AI rights to Peter Cullen's voice, because seriously, they got it. He's too much of a hero. He's like Captain Picard if Captain Picard was also He-Man and a giant truck.
Yeah.
Just all these like great lessons about life and leadership and somehow the nature of humanity, but he's a giant truck robot.
Mike, thoughts on this?
Nope, you guys covered it.
All right. Well, with that said, we are going to hit a couple things here. Debbie Young has gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. Hail to you and salute to you, Debbie Young, for gifting those 5 EBN memberships. To the 5 people that got those, I don't have the screen in front of me, but welcome to the EBN member family. We are going to be having a member stream this Sunday. Time will be announced Sunday, so just be looking out for on the community page for a time. It'll be sometime, early mid-afternoon sometime, I'm guessing. But thank you, Debbie, for that. And then we got Matt Cave Gaming with his member chat, member for 33 months. Peter Cullen and Frank Welker quite literally built the heroes of my childhood. Incredible voice actors. Now EBN are the heroes of my adulthood. Hail to you, Matt Cave. Good sir. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Matt.
And to all the new members here at EBN. I hope to see you guys on the member stream this Sunday. But this video is for you guys.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Turn up the heat and it's getting ready to pop.
All right. So with that said, we're going to move on to Jonas J. Campbell's topic of the day. Jonas, what do you got for us?
There was a tragedy a few years back. They started making these Harry Potter films out of these great books, and the first couple of them, pretty good. They were actually adapting them, and somewhere along the line, they started to go up in quality. And this guy got introduced, and then things happened, and they didn't end so well, in my opinion. I know that's controversial. Some people really like those final films, but man, I feel like the Harry Potter movies could have been so much better. So when Gary Oldman comes in here and says this, Gary Oldman disses his Harry Potter acting as mediocre. Maybe if I read the books like Alan Rickman, I would have played it differently. This is amazing to hear. First of all, Gary Oldman really classed the place up by showing up in this and playing what I thought was actually kind of a complex character. He's here. He's a father figure for Harry, even though he's obviously this kind of perpetual bachelor who lost a good deal of his life by being in prison. Love the character of Sirius Black. Anyways, he's been doing a lot of interviews lately, probably for his show that he's got on Apple TV, something like Slow Horses, or I hear it's got good reviews. Anyways, during an interview on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, the Oscar winner called his acting in Harry Potter mediocre, and most fans across the world would probably disagree. I think my work is mediocre in it, Oldman said, to the shock of the host. No, I do. Maybe if I had read the books like Alan Rickman, if I had got ahead of the curve, if I had known what's coming, I honestly think I would have played it differently. Of course, spoiler alert, he dies in, movie 5, and he barely shows up in movie 4, shows up in movie 3, and he's almost like the villain of movie 3 for a good deal of it. But this is so weird to me because it also comes on the heels of him saying that these movies like saved his life in a weird way because he had just gotten the custody of his kids after a bad divorce. And so you got this guy who's only done indie films or weird roles, and he ends up in arguably one of the biggest blockbuster series of the last 20 years. And so he's probably making truckloads of money every year just off the fact that he was in Harry Potter. And it was all shot in London, so he got to be around his family. So he says he's grateful for the role. And now he's talking about how he wish he had done it better. I can't tell if this is him being like, humble and talking about, oh, I always wish I could have done better. Or if he's like, man, if I had that to do all over again, I would have played it completely different. But what do you guys think?
So I am going to defer to our guest, Culture Casino, because I know nothing about Harry Potter, but I love Gary Oldman, and the fact that he came out and made this comment is pretty cool to me. Gary Oldman's awesome. Top-notch actor for sure, but I literally know nothing about Harry Potter. People make fun to me about it all the time. But Culture, your thoughts?
I honestly, when I read this morning, I was quite stunned. I was like, "What? What? You did a great job playing this." And as Jonas described, a very complex character, and he's just an incredible actor. He's a tour de force, whatever he's in. But I thought he did a great job playing Sirius Black, and I don't know how he would have thought that he didn't. I mean, yeah, he probably didn't have a grasp on the material, but I think at the same time, this statement was also about honoring Alan Rickman and his performance as Snape. I mean, if anything, if anything, you're talking about two class acts, two incredible actors, right? And if you're honoring your friend, if you're honoring somebody that you worked with, I think this is maybe a way to go about doing it without doing it outright, and I still think he did a great job. Maybe it wasn't what I had pictured in my mind's eye when I was reading the book or books, But I mean, I mean, who you couldn't have asked for a better father figure, a person that's a better representation of that for Harry. He had a lot of very positive male role models, and I thought Gary did a great job being one of them. Because through the fact that just his character is imprisoned for something he did not do, and wasn't as bitter as he should have been, or was well beyond some of that. I think that came through on Gary's performance. But I don't want to dominate the time here, but I think that there's equal measure there of humility, being humble, and honoring your friend. I think that would be my takeaway.
Yeah, Coach.
I agree. Culture said it perfectly. I don't have much to add. I think he was just, he's a professional. He is extremely good at his craft, and a lot of people that have that degree of professionalism and success, they're hardest on themselves. They're their own biggest critic. So I think we might be getting a little bit of that here, and he's honoring Rickman, and I think that's awesome. So I like the whole thing.
And can I say from both of your comments, like Alan Rickman got robbed in every movie from Order of the Phoenix onward. Like they spent all this time on this like kiddie stuff, and they got to follow Harry and whatever, but they were very focused on these teenagers. And I feel like that's to the detriment of the films. Like all of the adults in that film, first of all, having the adults on screen that are these seasoned actors, that's almost always good for your movie. And I think not having more of a focus on Alan Rickman's character really robs that movie of some revelatory stuff. Instead, it's like, we got to hit that scene. We got to hit that scene. We got to hit that scene. And he cries and he's dead. And there's some flashbacks of indicating that he, cared for Harry's mother. Like this is one of the few fully fleshed out characters in the books where he's got a complicated backstory. And I think Alan Rickman knew it all. Like he's supposedly one of the guys that J.K. Rowling revealed the plot line for, and like even the directors of the films at Rickman had the clearance to say, you don't know where this is going, so I'm not going to play the scene that way. But then towards the end it was, we need this teeny bopper stuff in here. Rickman got robbed for sure.
Yeah. Loki, thoughts?
Originally I was not a Harry Potter fan. It wasn't until my oldest got into the movies that I actually sat down and watched the very first one, because she watched that movie over and over and over. And I was like, okay, this isn't bad. And I watched the next one. And eventually I told myself, I don't want to read the books because I want to experience the films. That's one of the things I had a problem with Lord of the Rings was I read the books at a young age. I wanted to experience this fresh in a theater, opening night. And when Order of the Phoenix came out, I was working 12 to 16-hour nights at a prison every single night. I did not get a night off. And I traded an entire week of staying over 4 hours extra so that I could get one night off to see this movie on opening night. And again, I hadn't read the book, so I didn't know what was going to happen. And we're sitting there, and there's a scene where Harry is going to meet Sirius in this train station. Sirius comes up as the dog, walks up and goes to talk to Harry. And the guy in front of me leans over to his date and goes, he dies in this movie. Oh, I was like, dude, what? Dude. And I got up and I said something. I got up and I was like, dude, everyone around you can hear you, to the point that one of the theater people came by and was like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm sitting here listening, and the guy starts talking about who's going to die in the movie and da-da-da-da, right? So they end up getting kicked out. We get our thing comp, but still, this was my favorite character up until that point. He did an outstanding job. I honestly believe him and Rickman both, and like Jonas said, both of them were underutilized in the films they were in. They were not utilized to the fullest extent that they could have been. The books go into much more depth about these characters, but they both did an outstanding job in the work they did. I could barely recognize him in Prisoner of Azkaban. You can barely, he's so skinny and it's like he's been in prison and he hasn't been eating and he's all bone. You're like, dude, that can't be him.
Yeah.
And then you see him in the next movie and you recognize him. You see him in Order of the Phoenix because you don't see him in 4, but you see him in Order of the Phoenix and you recognize him. And he brings all of that talent, the charm. When he's talking to Harry, when he's talking about, you know what, I want to adopt you. I want you to live with me. I want to raise you. And then he's gone. And you don't get him until you don't get another bit of serious until that very last movie. He did an outstanding job. I honestly believe he is being very humble, but kudos to him talking about Rickman because he did do all of the homework for those roles. He talked to JK behind the scenes. He was like, tell me what's going to happen. I need to know so I can do the character right. He put everything into that role. So, bravo to both of them.
Yeah. Mike, any thoughts before we move on?
Dude, I don't know jack about Harry Potter. Never read the books. Didn't
neither.
Didn't finish the movies. Saw the first one. Thought it was lame as hell.
Same. I'm with you on the Harry Potter.
Me and Harry Potter are like me and anime. It's like a slow love affair.
Yeah. I like some anime stuff, but I know more about anime than I know about Harry Potter.
I know a lot more about anime than I know about Harry Potter. And let me tell you this much. I did enjoy going to Universal Studios, though, and riding the ride and being immersed in the environment in Orlando. But I walked right by the ones that were on sale because I'm like, why am I gonna buy a stick for $150 that I can get in my backyard? I'm Mexican. I'm Mexican. I can cut these things down, sand them, shellac them. Boom! I got a $150 wand. There we go.
They're not $150. They're $30. And
Whatever.
I know because we bought about 50 of them and brought them back from Universal.
They had a
when we
collector.
honeymooned
It was
there.
a collector set box. You got this kind of one, that kind of one. That I'm like, they're sticks in a
Oh
box.
yeah. We got that.
Valiant's
We got the Marauders.
$150 one. That's the one. That's
Yeah,
the
it's like
cane.
there's like stick one, stick, and they have names.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
cane. I've got the cane. Hold
Whatever.
on. I'll be back in just a second. Give me just a second. I got the cane. Oh yeah, we got all of them while we were
Whatever.
there.
I'm
Hold
Mexican.
on.
Look, all right, everybody in the live chat. There's like 100 people here. Mexican Iron Man in 2024 is going to go into the Harry Potter Mexican wand business. If you would like your very own wand, signature series for Mexican Iron Man, how much do they sell them in Orlando each? $30?
30.
Okay, for $24.99, Mexican Iron Man will ship to you your very own. And here's how you'll know it's Mexican Iron Man, because it will be from, I'll take a picture of me chopping down the back of the tree and then getting the stick. Like, I'll do your own YouTube video, and then you'll get a little private link, and then you'll know, like, I'll even, like, now I'm not going to do any of the sandpapering or the painting or the shellacking myself, because
It's gonna be straight up Mexican.
yeah, like, there's people I can hire to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like that kind of Mexican. Like, I mean, I'll go in the back and get the twigs, but I ain't trying to like sit here and like, I'll have someone do that. But for $24.99,
Oh geez.
You already got a sale.
You're muted, Culture.
you're muted. Ooh,
Oh wow, what a show off!
These are the ones that work while you're at Universal, so they interact. It's an
Right.
interactable wand.
Screw the cane. I'm looking at the Dinobots.
Those are the Volcanus ones, so they make a giant one.
Yeah.
So they let you carry a big stick with a sharp metal end on it into the park. That's
Yeah, well they sold it.
You buy it. But yeah, they sold it to me. Of course they're gonna let me carry it. I actually had them ship this home along with the Gryffindor sword, the sword of Gryffindor. So we got this, we got the sword, and then we got all of the cane, all the ones, including the seasonal ones that only get sold like summer, winter, all that stuff.
Mikey,
yes, sir.
can I request a petrified churro one?
Yes, I can get you a petrified churro.
That would be
Sign
awesome.
me up. I think
Sign
Echo
me up
Base
for one of those too.
We should do this through the Echo Base Network store. It'll be called the Mexican Iron Man Harry Potter Signature Twig Series.
Coach, get on that.
see now I'm over here just wondering what a Mexican Hogwarts would look like.
Cocobolo.
Cocobolo.
I think, doesn't it just look like a big old, what do you call them? Mexican mansion. What are they called? My brain just fell out of my head.
Hacienda?
Hacienda. Yeah.
Hacienda. Yeah.
No, I live in South Carolina. I live in a plantation house.
Wow.
All right, guys. With that said, we got 96 people here.
everybody.
How many
So-
likes do we have?
Welcome.
61.
61
We need
likes.
more.
Get
Smash
it to
that
69.
like button, guys. And if you guys were not here at the beginning of the show, remember there's 4 ways you can support us here. Channel memberships, where we do pop-ins on our Thursday night live streams that move from Saturdays to Thursdays. From time to time, watch parties, Discord, Patreon, where we upload tons of stuff we can't do on YouTube. New merch store that Coach just set up and designed. A lot of cool stuff over there. And of course, super chats. If you guys want to be a part of the show or have us comment or talk about a topic that you haven't heard or you want to hear our thoughts on, super chats are a great way to do that. So be sure smash that like button. With that said, we're going to move on to Loki's topic of the day. What do you got for us, Loki?
So I just wanted to bring this up, considering I am on EBN right now, and I'm hanging out with Coach. I'm hanging out with Mick, and I haven't brought up Star Wars in like forever. I can't remember the last time I talked about Star
I
Wars.
can't remember the last time those 2 words came out of your mouth.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I'm not specifically going to talk about Star Wars, but I'm going to talk about something that was called The Star Wars Killer. And that is a laughable film called Rebel Moon that did not in
Culture's
any
favorite
way,
movie of the year.
shape, or form measure up to Star Wars. So if any of you have seen it, Rebel Moon was a film by Zack Snyder. It's only come out with part 1. I don't think they should do a part 2. Personally, I don't. I really don't. But this is, if you've ever seen Akira Kurosawa. Kurosawa created a film called Seven Samurai. And that film spawned a lot of similar films.
One of George Lucas's inspirations.
Magnificent Seven. It inspired Star Wars. There's a movie called Battle Beyond the Stars that has John Boy and a booby ship in it. Yeah, that's right. It's called The Booby Ship, and her name's Nell, and she's got attitude. But even that movie, that's like 50 years old now, is better than Rebel Moon. So there were a lot of promises made. It was supposed to have lightsabers. It doesn't have lightsabers. It's got some glowy sword that's not a lightsaber. It's heated metal. Somehow this chick heats up her knives. They don't even look like swords. They're just like big butcher knives. She heats those up and they glow red. These are not lightsabers. They're not blocking blaster bolts. This movie was bad. It was bad. And all of the Snyder Bros, that Mexican Iron Man calls them that, Snyder Bros, because he was a Snyder Bro. Apparently, I had no idea until the other day that he was a Snyder Bro. All the Snyder Bros were
Hardcore.
like
Hardcore. I was on that sweet Zack Snyder nectar.
nobody's gonna remember Star Wars after this. Star Wars is gonna become a fleeting memory once Rebel Moon comes out, because it's gonna be the very best movie that's ever come out in existence.
I was looking forward to it.
And I just had to laugh. I've watched it twice. I watched it twice just to make sure. I'm like, okay, am I just hating this because I have seen this a million times before? Or is there something wrong with this movie? And it's both. I've seen this. I saw it in Seven Samurai. I saw it in Magnificent Seven. I saw it in Battle Beyond the Stars with the booby ship Nell. I've seen it over and over and over again. This movie's been made 100 times before, and it's been done better than Zack Snyder did it. So that's what I had to say. It is there is no Star Wars killer. Snyder Bros, you can put your blasters up and hide your wannabe katana lightsabers, because this didn't do it. I'm waiting for round 2, but I don't even think round 2 should be made, because this was boring. This was boring and a chore. When I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to keep watching it. It's that bad. You've got a problem.
Yeah.
Who
All
on this panel has seen it?
culture.
I have not.
I have seen 20 minutes of it now. That's all I needed. I started off at 15 minutes. I've added 5
Okay,
minutes
so
of
Loki,
watch time.
I started watching it and I didn't finish it.
Well, I couldn't.
Same.
We
But I
were
promised Loki that I would watch it for Tuesday, so I got to finish it.
we were on with Mr. H, and Mr. H is like, "You guys need to watch this." I'm like, "No,
No.
no."
Thing's
and then
like
we
3
were talking
hours,
about
isn't
it.
it?
We were talking about it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I made it through 15 minutes. Well, I added 5 minutes yesterday.
God,
So,
I lasted longer than you did.
20 minutes."
Yeah,
Did you watch it, Nick?
I started it and I turned it off also. I was like, oh, what is going on here? Like, I'm so confused, and this is so slow, and it's like boring. It was like I finally watched Flash in like a couple weeks ago, and literally about 20 minutes in, I was like, this is terrible. I don't even want to finish watching it. Like, this is terrible. But the only reason I finished watching it is because I wanted to get to the Michael Keaton stuff. Literally, there was about maybe 10 minutes of the Flash that's worth watching, and that's it. That might be the same for Rebel Moon. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. So
You know, they did the same thing with the 89 Batman, part 2, the 89 Batman. Batman abandons Gotham and retires. And it's just this trope now. You had it in Batwoman, you've had it in the movies, you've had it in the comic books, where Batman basically just gives up being Batman. And yeah, that doesn't happen. So
no.
Well, it's funny because this is the one time when Zach didn't have to use slow motion to make his movie really slow.
Yes. Well, like literally. So I'll tell you guys real quick. So I watched like probably maybe the first 15 or 20 minutes, probably about same as you, Culture. But I fast forwarded like maybe an hour into it. And
What?
Because I was like, maybe it like speeds up later. I'm gonna fast forward and just see if this is the same thing, like an hour. So I just fast forward like a random spot, like an hour later,
And it was the same shot.
and it was like the same thing, just like talking and just walking around. And I was like, and I watched about 5 minutes of that. And I was just like, I'm done. Like, I can't sit here and watch this. Like, I got other things that I'd rather be doing. So yeah, I haven't seen it from start to finish.
Well, you're not a real YouTuber then.
Yeah. I'm a part-time YouTuber.
Oh,
I guess I like suffering because I actually got through it twice.
God, I don't know how
Well, I had to
you do
watch it with
Loki.
Eris. Eris wanted
you
to
watched
watch
it twice?
Yeah, so I watched it once on my own.
Now I gotta finish it.
Oh,
Damn
man.
it. Now
And then I
gotta-
watched it with Eris, and she said the same thing. This can't be the same guy that she goes. I know it is because of the slow motion BS. But this can't be the same guy that did 300 because 300 is just it grips you and it makes
Yeah.
you want to watch it and you're like, I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens to these guys. You do not care about one person in this movie. You don't care. Maybe the robot with the antlers at the end of the movie. That's played by Anthony Hopkins. So Anthony Hopkins narrates and he plays the voice of this robot. That's the only thing that you're like, Rebel Moon. Oh, isn't that one Anthony Hopkins narrated? Oh yeah, he played the robot. Yeah. That's all you're ever going to remember is that Anthony Hopkins voiced a part, and that's it.
Don't we call that being a masochist? Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Coach, thoughts on Rebel Moon? I know you haven't seen it either, right?
Hadn't started it. I'm guilty of being one of the people on YouTube that made a video saying, "Hey, this is being branded as the Star Wars killer. I'm all in. Let's do it." Props to Snyder for creating a
looking forward to
brand
it,
new
yeah.
universe himself and not just
Oh.
ripping off, rebooting something else. I mean, at least it's going to be new and fresh. Well,
It wasn't.
but my question is this: why is Zack Snyder the only person in Hollywood that gets 2 tries with every failed movie?
Yeah, because apparently he came out and said this isn't actually the movie. The director's cut version is a completely different movie. That's going
Sound
to come
familiar?
out later.
Yeah. That's coming out after part 2. You're going to get a director's cut that's going to have a whole bunch of different stuff in it. And it's going to be more of a prequel to what this is. So you're going to get a lot of backstory you're not getting in this movie right at the beginning of the next whatever it is.
So
It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
So did you just say that he's doing 2 movies off of this, and each of them are getting director's cuts?
Well, we know the first one is. I don't know
The
about
first
the
one
second.
is for sure. Yeah.
So he's not just getting 2 shots at this; he's getting like 4,
Four.
maybe more.
He's gonna do a black and white. Technically, that's 5.
Well, if he does black and whites of 2, that's even more.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that'd be
It's just like
6.
this guy is. I don't know. I feel like he's got the level of commitment of like Christopher Nolan right now, but Christopher Nolan is generally much more consistent in his delivery of a marketable product. So I don't know. I don't know what if this doesn't land and do well for Netflix. Netflix, I think the days of Netflix signing these big checks for no reason are over. So if this stuff doesn't like really rock, especially that second movie or the director's cut, this really doesn't rock for Netflix. I don't see where Zack Snyder's career goes after this. And maybe that would be
I
good for
agree.
him to be like working on zombie films again, because his Day of the Dead is really solid, like really good. That if I want to put up the best Zack Snyder film, it's probably that one right there.
What?
Or maybe Dawn of the Dead, not the
Oh,
one that
Dawn
he
of
did
the
with
Dead.
not the one with Tig Notaro in it, the one that is like set in a mall that's
Yeah.
Romero remake,
Oh,
not the recent one that had Dave Bautista in it.
Because
The
the
one
recent
before.
one sucked.
No, not the recent one. No, this is before people knew who Zack Snyder was, and he's just this hungry
Army of the
filmmaker.
Dead.
Is that well? Army of the Dead's the Tig Notaro one, right? There's a shot. Then it's not slow-mo, so it's even better. Where you're like going into a city, and then there's this cross street. And
Oh
this
yeah,
car
Dawn of the Dead,
comes-
2004, and then he
Yep.
directed Army of the Dead in 2021.
Yeah, and Dawn of the Dead was like really solid for what it was. I haven't watched it for a while, so maybe it's one that I'm just remembering fondly from being like a teenager. Yeah, he peaked early in my opinion. But they kept giving him bigger projects.
I think 300 was the only thing of quality that he did.
I thought
300
Frank
was
Miller did that
great.
one. He did 300. Yeah, he did do 300. Yeah,
He
300
did do 300.
yeah.
is really
The
good.
slow motion, just watch all the slow motion
Yeah.
battle stuff,
Yeah.
and you'll be like, "Oh, it's a Snyder
yeah.
movie."
Yeah.
Yes, Snyder.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were a couple things he had a shot at. But for as much as I enjoyed his version of Justice League, I feel like he's never really lived up to his potential, and maybe I just expected too much. But like I said, I mean, I dragged myself through 20 minutes of this film and I couldn't get into it. That's saying something. As somebody who is, as Coach points out, I was like, if this is really a Star Wars killer, let it be good, let it prove itself.
Star Wars hooked you at the very beginning.
It did.
The very beginning. If you're gonna talk about doing a Star Wars killer, it should grab the audience from the get-go.
They had the opportunity to do that because it opens up in space. So they had the opportunity to do some kind of like big slugged it out space battle with these giant battleships that they've got in space. They didn't do anything like that. He missed an opportunity to grab you, and he never does that. During the entire movie, there's never a point where it comes out and just grabs you and pulls you into the movie. It's all like, okay, we're going to go here. Okay, here's this character. Oh, hi, this character. I'm going out to get people to help defend my little village on this planet that's worthless. Oh, you're the leader of the village. Hi, my name is Sindri, and I'm about to get beaten to death by a big stick. And it's just boring, and it never comes out and grabs you and says, "This is killer. Watch me." Ever, even during the action scenes, you're just like, the guns are not inspired, the battles are not. There's never even really a big battle. Even at the end of the movie, there's not really a big battle. It's just kind of pew 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 pew. It's boring.
And then
The
it
whole
ends,
movie's
right?
boring, and then it ends, and
Yeah.
it leaves you on this. Oh, look who's still around! Oh no, poor, and you're just like, whatever. The one semi-interesting character turns out to be and is gone. So bye. I don't care.
Sounds to me like I get a free pass and I don't have to finish it for our Tuesday session.
The only Star Wars killer is Star Wars. As we continue to get this onslaught of suicidal attempts from Lucasfilm,
Yeah.
if you're going to create a Star Wars killer, you don't say it. You just go
Yeah.
do it.
You just go do it. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
And
Facts.
that is the way things work in 2020s. Nothing's a killer except for your own product. Nothing's killing your own product but your own product. Just like, oh, well, what's going to be the next Call of Duty killer or the new Halo killer or blah, blah. No, they're doing just fine all on their own, coming out with garbage that you don't have to worry about what's going to come out that's going to do better than them.
Yep. Mike, any final thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I just want to know if Loki, does that mean I don't have to finish it?
You don't have to finish it as long as you help
know me
on
better
Wednesday.
than you know me as well as anybody, better than almost anybody.
No, dude, it's boring. You don't have to finish it. Just help me out on Wednesday. Celebration
All right.
time.
Oh, well, I'll call you about that after the show.
Okay.
All right, before we get to Mike's topic, real quick, Debbie Young with another $1.99 super chat in honor of our member, Graph Web, hashtag cancel Disney Plus, and Coach designed the Graph Web cancel Disney Plus shirt. Hope to see everybody there wearing one of those at Icon Meetup next October. It's going to be awesome. Links for the EBN Meetup in Nashville next year are on the channel. And you can go to Icon website. All those links and stuff are there. Also, the mod of all moderators, who also mods for us on Tuesdays and Thursdays over on the HCast with me and Culture and Nate, Mr. H Reviews, and Tom and Andre on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, 5 YouTubers and a Mexican.
That should be the name of today's show. We should change the thumbnail. 5 YouTubers and a Mexican.
5 YouTubers and a Mexican. Well, we need to start naming that show that every single week. We'll start calling it that. But thank you for that, Debbie, for that super chat. We appreciate all the super chats here to support the show that we do here every Friday. Debbie, this super chat video is for you.
So Mediator has decided 1 point Valiant Renegade. That is a very, very valid argument.
Bring
me some pizza rolls.
What you're really saying, Valiant, though,
May the force be with you. For me, to Papa.
Will you bring me some pizza rolls? That's brilliant.
That's a super chat video? I didn't even know that.
I clicked it. It's not a super chat video. I was scrolling through there and I just clicked on one to hurry and click on one. But anyways, thank you, Debbie, for that super chat. And we are gonna move on. Mike, what topic do you got for us today? Good sir.
Well, I've got good news. I've got good news and bad news.
All right, shoot.
So the bad news is that in the topic of directors that piss me off, word on the street is that Superman legacy director James Gunn is casting Supergirl, who is humorous with a punk rock edginess.
So modern sort
good
of
news, guys and gals in the chat. Good news. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
are we talking like present day? Are we talking present day edginess? Or
like 80s?
80s, yeah. Like 80s punk rock edginess.
Yes, 80s punk rock edginess. She's going to be humorous. And look, I'm already envisioning that when she comes out, she's going to have half of her head shaved and, the hair flopping over on the side, typical.
And it'll be purple.
Yeah, maybe if it's a purple hair.
Okay, that's not 80s punk rock edginess. That's present day punk rock.
Yeah, but when someone like James Gunn says that doesn't mean that they actually know what punk rock is. They're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Come on. That's like my grandma telling me like what's cool in the world. This is a train wreck. It's gonna be. Last week I reported on Poison Ivy. This week I'm reporting on Supergirl, and I am sick and tired of anybody that tells me James Gunn is gonna do things the right way. This life is pretty simple, people. We need a Superman who's going to bring us all together, and we need stories that bring out the best of DC. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the list goes on. If I end up getting a weirdo like East San Francisco, Bay Area, Greenwich Village, New York, downtown Chicago, weirdo Supergirl, or like some kind of like West Hollywood freakazoid in my DC universe, I'm going to lose my everlasting mind on this channel. And Nick will have to like literally be pumping the no word video every other second because I'm going to lose my ever loving mind on this channel.
So I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Who's got background noise? I hear background noise.
I'm sorry, I'm broadcasting from an Arby's.
Do you hear people? Do you hear people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mute.
My daughter's got people leaving. I'll mute my mic.
Oh, okay. So I've not ever been a big fan of Supergirl, but I will say this: the Supergirl from the Flash movie wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, but that one wasn't humorous and did not have a punk rock edginess.
No, absolutely not. But this one, I've never pictured Supergirl as humorous or punk rock edgy at all. I've always pictured Supergirl as basically Superman, but a girl, but a very similar personalities, like saving the world, caring for people, helping people out, helping humanity, that sort of thing. I don't know. It's sort of like, I can't really think of a good analogy for this, but yeah, I've never really pictured Supergirl as humorous or punk rock edgy at all ever. But Culture, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm going to respond the same way I have been for this one. No, thank you.
Yeah.
This is one of those times when I'm like, we just need a Superman movie with Superman. We don't need any of the other pieces. I feel like this is the same mistake they made with DC before. You're going to hear that same take from other people, I'm certain, and may have already heard that same take. But this needs to be the least busy film project ever to start out with. You can't
sort of like the first Iron Man movie.
Exactly. That, in fact, I could not have said it better, Nick. You need this to be simplicity itself, something that can appeal to everybody from the beginning and gives you the Boy Scout Superman that you have been waiting for 2 decades. This has to be optimistic. It has to be bright. It can't be shrouded in darkness and dismay. We need a hopeful Superman, and we don't need any modern bologna sausage that goes along with today's ideological stuff. We need a Superman that isn't polluted by a rogues gallery of bad guys. We don't need additional good guys. We just need Superman. We just start there. And even if you're bringing him in later in his existence, if he's already got the gig at the paper, if he's already moved well past the initial relationship with his love interest, whoever that happens to be, and so on and so forth. And I'm even suggesting it doesn't even have to be Lois. All I'm saying is you need this to be unpolluted. That's all. And if he goes about doing it that way and not casting everybody in the world, will be far.
Why can't my Supergirl look like this? Why?
I don't know. It works for me.
I want a Supergirl that looks like any of these chicks. Any of them. 84, CW, comic book.
I mean, she does look like that. Are you looking at a picture of her? She does look like that.
I'm just saying, I want my Supergirl to look exactly like this.
Yeah, none of those look punk rocky or edgy.
Right. I don't want any punk rocky or edgy. I want like this right here. This is what I want. This is what Mexican Iron Man is used to. Mexican Iron Man does not need any diversity, inclusion, or punk rock edginess in the Supergirl.
But Mikey.
What?
They want to make it so that there's no element of timeliness to it. They want to date these projects. I've decided that's why they give them about the stay around power of a Pop-Tart. because they first of all, I don't think they can create anything that would be have timelessness. I think they're prisoners of the life they live at the moment, not the one they had in the past, and certainly not the one they can envision in the future, because there is no visionary in Hollywood anymore. Anyway,
yeah.
that's all I have to say.
Coach, thoughts?
I hope I don't get body positivity Supergirl.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're still
You're
muted.
muted. You're muted, Coach.
Sorry, my dog's been going crazy now. My thoughts is it's just more of the same. Hollywood, continues to do this, go that direction, whatever you want to say, and I'm tired of it too. So I agree with Mike.
Jonas?
I'm kind of two minds about it. If they're making her punk rock because they want her to be a contrast to Superman being very optimistic, then I can see how that can serve the idea of a better Superman, because Kara Zor-El is supposed to be a little bit more jaded, a little bit more mean. The comic book that I haven't read the comic book that it's based on, but from what I understand, that is a less likable Supergirl. It sounds weird to say, but yeah, if she's hot, it's going to cover a lot of problems that this could have. And if she's hot and she looks like Supergirl from the comics, it's again going to cover a lot of problems. I think about when James Gunn wrote Nebula, Karen Gillan's character. First of all, you take one of the more beautiful actresses out there that's actually capable of delivering a performance, and you shave her head, and you put her in weird blue body paint to where you've taken an attractive woman and you've essentially made her not attractive, and then it takes a really long time to get attached to that character. And I'm talking like 5 movies of Nebula before that was a character that I go, oh yeah, I understand this character. I know her motivations. I actually want to see her on screen. Didn't watch Guardians 3, but she was in 1, 2, and a couple of Avengers films. I guess it's 4. But he has some history of writing decent punk rock females. But if she has a half-shaved head, then I'm out, because that's boring, and I've seen that way too many times.
Yeah, Loki.
So picture this, and they're not going to do this because this is too good of an idea. Supergirl and Superman didn't get to Earth at the same time. That they've done that. That's established. Supergirl could have been asleep a lot of the time. Kal-El gets older. She wakes up. She's younger than him, but when originally she's older than him. So Supergirl is supposed to be older than Kal-El, Superman. So Supergirl gets there in the 80s. She gets to Earth in the 80s. Her outfit is much like Jor-El's black and silver judge robes that he has in the very first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. Okay. She's got that black and silver outfit. She just gets to Earth. She doesn't know the culture. She doesn't know what's going on. She's walking by this window and she sees Joan Jett on the TV jamming out. At some point, she dyes her hair black. And at one point in the movie, you see her go through the wall to Cherry Bomb from Joan Jett. That kind of punk could work, and it could be absolutely positively awesome. They could do it awesome. You could have an 80s punk Supergirl that is kicking ass and taking names and going through walls to Cherry Bomb, and it would rock. Are they going to do that? No, they're not. I guarantee you they're not going to do something cool like that.
Well,
but they could, and that's real awesome. Punk.
And James Gunn knows that song for sure because he put it in Guardians 1.
Yeah.
Good song.
They could do that, and it would be awesome, and it would be really cool, but they're not going to do that. Yeah. I wish they would. Including her in a Superman movie is stupid. Come out with her own movie, say she got there before Clark. She ends up getting frozen or goes back to sleep on her ship or is like, you know what, I hate this world, whatever it is. And she wakes up later after the first Superman movie and you get this backstory cool thing with Supergirl. But they're not going to do something like that. They're just going to bring her in Superman and it's going to be something stupid. But they could make it work. They're just not going to because they've got dumb on the brain. And Warner Brothers is dumb. And Warner Brothers is going to interfere in everything James Gunn does anyway. So even if James Gunn came up with a cool idea, WB is going to be like, no, we're going to interfere and and we're going to make it stupid. Just like they did with Justice League and every other DC movie that ever came out. So
we And with that said, guys, we are going to be wrapping up here. Wrapping up the EBN cast. We've gone over almost 30 minutes from our hour, but Coach made it here today and Culture was here today. So, we ran over just a little, it's all right. Mr. Buttcrack Media, member for 19 months. Hail all in the panel and on the chat. Hail to you, good sir. Moderator of all moderators, Olaf Van S, member for 28 months. Wishing all my many friends here on EBN and other YouTubes great New Year's. If I don't see y'all in the next 2 days on any other stream, thanks for the great interaction and friendship for the past 2+ years. Hail to you, Olaf. We appreciate everything you do here and, of course, over on the HCast, where you can find me in Culture on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Adam with the Hungarian, was that Frank's Culture? Is that Hungarian Franks?
Florence.
That's right. Florence. Yeah. Just wanted to wish you a happy new year. Hope to see all you having as much fun as this year. Stay positive and continue telling it like it is. Hail to you, Adam. Good sir. Thank you very much for that super chat. Blood Guilty Gaming, $5. Would like to hear everyone's opinion on Melvin calling out Cameron as a fraud and completely making up Sparrow. Oh, Lord. This is a rabbit hole. I am not going to go down. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to try to sway anybody's opinion. Cameron's always been very nice to us. We've had him here on the show.
All right, I'll jump in. I know him better than anybody, than everybody on this panel combined and everybody in chat. I've had his cell number. I've had dinner at his house. I know him personally. When he first got this contact, he talked to me about it, and I told him 2 things. If you're going to decide to do a rumor channel, understand that what you're going to be told, some of it will be truthful, some of it will be lies, and you take a risk, number 1. And number 2, I told him don't ever release the who this person really is. And I was with him in LA when all before he ever did his first report on who the Sparrow guy is or what the Sparrow person was telling him. I was there and talked to him about it. So I know more about this stuff than anybody. And Mo can kiss my living ass.
Yeah. Mike's got firsthand experience. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We'll leave that to all of you to decide what your thoughts are on all that. And with that said, this has been another great EBN cast. Thanks to everybody here for joining. Culture, tell everybody where they can find you out. Good sir.
Right here, Culture Casino, everywhere. It's very simple. YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Minds, Getter, and the product as X, formerly known as Twitter. There you go.
I refuse to call it X. I still call it Twitter.
Yep, same here.
Coach, where can oh wait, everybody knows where they can find you at.
Skip me.
Yeah. Jonas, where can everybody find you at?
I'm on That Park Place channel that releases way too many videos every single day, and also on the WDW Pro Show. And I got to go serve the boss over here. I got to get him a bunch of videos for his channel for the weekend here. So everyone else, I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Yep. Good day to you, sir. Happy New Year, and thanks for being a part of the panel, and we'll see you next week. Loki, where can everybody find you? What do you got going on?
Guys, you can find me over at Loki's Mornings of Mischief. We go Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and this Wednesday, January 3rd, will be our 4-year anniversary to the day we did our first live stream. And ladies and gentlemen, these 2 guys up here, Nick and Coach, were a huge inspiration. I was like, these guys got it together. They know what they're doing. They've got everything worked out. They know everything. And I know they didn't, but I'm Josh, and I'm so partly because of these guys and people like Culture and people like DC and people like Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers and Gary gave me enough confidence to go, you know what, I want to do something. And 4 years to the day on next Wednesday, we will have had our first live stream. So we're going to have kind of a celebration. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. If I don't, thank you so much for hearing me out today. And thank you guys for letting me hang out with some great YouTubers, including you, Mexican Iron Man.
No, what? No.
Dude, congrats on having a great channel, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonas.
Well, I have good news. I have positive news to end the stream with, which is that thank you, Loki. Guess what I just got?
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
I'm glad it got there. They said it wouldn't get there until next
like
year.
it was meant to be. The Amazon guy was downstairs as I was letting Bino out, and the Amazon guy rolls up, hands me a package. I'm like, I didn't order anything from Amazon, and I ripped it open right before as we're going live, and I'm so excited because this is the only thing I don't have in my entire Batman collection on physical media. So I can't wait to watch this.
Heck yeah, brother. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for showing up for our live stream.
Yep. And you guys can find Mike on Midnight's Edge. And you can find him on Twitter. Thank you guys for all your super chats. Thanks to all the mods. And we will see you guys next Friday on episode 5 of the EBN Cast. Bye, guys.